Hey, high levelers. In this video, I want to bring to you a cool feature that HighLevel has released this year during their summit. There were hundreds of features being released, but this one I want to focus on to give you a little bit more information, and that is the advanced builder inside of the workflows. So what does that mean? What does it mean to have this new advanced feature, not the standard feature? Because it gives it a nice visual layout design kind of thing. And I want to just show you what you can do, what you can't do, and things like that. So let's hop into it and take a look at it. So here we are inside of one of my demo accounts. I'm going to go under automation. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to hop into my keyword text marketing folder. So right now, I'm just going to show you some of the basics here. If you open up, this is one where I have multiple triggers going into an if statement condition. And the purpose of the workflow is not important. The structure of it is what I want to focus on and pay attention to. So right now, up in the top left corner, if you take a look over here, you see there's now a drop-down list where there wasn't before. So now you can go from the standard builder to the advanced builder. Now, let's go ahead and move this over to the advanced builder. Now, look at this. This is a really cool, nice looking layout. So it looks visual, nice little design, different layout. If you've ever dealt with workflows or dealt with any kind of other software that deal with visual workflows, so this should be pretty familiar to you. But some of the things I want to make sure that you understand are available in this particular advanced view that is not available in basic is the ability of several things. But in this video, one of them is the triggers. So right now, notice we have two triggers, and notice that basically I want to pay attention to the lines here. Notice that they're both solid lines. And that's important here in the advanced builder. So right now, one of the things you can do is you can have multiple triggers and have triggers have different begin points inside of the workflow, or even completely do a completely separate path inside of the workflow, which was not available in the standard builder. In the standard builder, all of your triggers had to flow directly into one workflow, and you couldn't have it take parallel paths inside of the workflows, but now you can. So this is a cool thing here. So what I want to do is I just want to show you, let me move this around a little bit here. So I'm going to go here and notice that when I do this, there's a plus, so I can add an action item. By the way, if you wanted to, they're just up here in the top left. You can add a trigger or add an action up in the top right here. That's just where they are. But here, if I wanted to, I can delete this link. Okay. So this is a trigger. These are triggers over here. And what I want to do is I may want to connect this trigger, let's just say all the way over here. So now if I pull this down, now you see that this trigger runs and passes through this if statement and then has all these things. This other trigger now has a dotted line. So that's why I said it's important, because now this is a trigger that doesn't flow down the default path of the workflow. This is I wouldn't say a parallel path, because they do both converge in this SMS node here, but there is now you can connect, again, triggers to different points inside of the workflow. So right now, that was just one thing I wanted to show you. Now I'm going to move this up. Let's just assume here, this is also another cool thing. See, if you don't do this, it also reconnects, but that's fine. I also want to show you a cool feature here. If you've ever dealt with visual designers, you realize that this could really suck if you start moving things around and it's just, what is going on here? Oh my God. And then you're having to figure this stuff out. If you just right click here and go to format, and sometimes it's, I got to click on you have to click on the background first, then you have to click on format here. It's weird. But notice that now there's an automatic straighten up and clean up feature inside of this workflow, which is nice. So if you ever get things mixed up, you can just simply format it, and then it creates a nice little view of the workflow again. So I just want to show you that. But some of the other things I want to show you is the ability to, some cool things. If you highlight a couple of these, notice that there is a circle around these two nodes. Now I can move these as one. I don't have to move them separately. I can move all of these together down here, and now I can move them as one. I can even highlight this whole thing if I wanted to and move all of them. So that's a cool thing, that you can highlight a couple things and move it. That's just an organizational thing. But one of the things I think is pretty cool here is I'm going to highlight this whole thing, and I'm going to come here and copy this. And I'm going to need a little bit of room here. I'm going to come down here and then paste. So now what I've done is I've created an exact duplicate here of this process, whatever this is. And again, I'm not necessarily concerned about the process. I'm concerned about just showing you the flow of the workflow here. That's, to me, what's most important about the advanced builder. Doing all the nodes and the if statements and that, all this other stuff, they are pretty similar to just building the standard workflow. But here's some of the cool features. So now I can delete this link and then wrap this trigger directly over here. So now notice, if I wanted to, now I have one workflow with two parallel paths with two separate triggers. Okay, you couldn't do that before. Right now, that was not allowed, but the advanced builder, you can. So right now, notice again the dotted line. That means you're not choosing the default path. It's a separate path. Excuse me. But right now, this leads into here. And now this is just another cool feature that you can do inside of the advanced builder. You can have all these different paths set up. Or again, you could just take this one trigger and link it to a certain part in the existing workflow. So you can jump over a couple things and just link it directly to another part in the workflow like we did earlier. Now, to show you some other cool things here, if you take a look here, I'm going to have to blow this up, but let's just take a look at this SMS node. Notice that we have a couple of different icons. We can delete it, but we can also this is a pause button, but really what this is a disable node. So now we can disable this particular node, which means it stays in the workflow, but the workflow doesn't execute that step. It skips it over it and goes directly to the next step. So it's disabled, which is great. So now you can actually, if something's going wrong or there's a problem, you can just turn off that little part of the workflow and not have to stop the entire workflow or delete that thing and then re-add it later or something like that. You could just leave it there, which is cool. Again, it's a cool new feature. And if you wanted to, you can come here and turn this back on by just simply clicking the play button, and then you re-enable the node. Now, some other cool things. Right now, let's just assume that we don't want to do this get contact info step of this whole workflow. So what we can do is come here to this and then delete the link and leave it. So now what we're having is we have workflow elements that are in the workflow that are never going to be executed because there's no path to get to them. Does that make sense? So notice we cut the path off. So this thing is all by itself. There's no other way to get to this thing right now. So it'll never be executed until we connect it. Now, again, if we wanted to, we can come here and just connect this side over here, pull this stuff down if we wanted to. We can pause it, or in this case, disable it. But that's another cool thing, is that you can sit back and delete this and have whole branches of your workflows that don't execute anything in case you're having a problem. So if it's something new that you added and that's becoming problematic, it's not working quite right, you can just simply detach it, but leave the whole workflow in there. Again, that's something that you couldn't do in the other workflow builder because everything was linear. You just had to add it, add the next step, add the next step. So hopefully that makes sense. Great. So these are a couple of cool new things that you can do inside of the workflow. And again, if you wanted to, sorry, I would need to, it's touchy here, the builder. I'm typically used to like dragging and dropping, and sometimes it doesn't always work. You just gotta have to use your mouse pad to move this around. But here we see, we have two triggers, independent parallel paths that can be executed. We can pause. We can do all of this kind of cool stuff in the advanced builder. Now, one of the things I do want to warn you about, you can take an existing workflow and move it to the advanced builder. But if you're utilizing any of the advanced features inside of the builder, the advanced builder that is, you cannot put it back into standard without reconfiguring everything like a standard would have. You can't have any of the features. So you can't have this thing disconnected down here by any chance. You can't have multiple triggers over here going to independent paths. You can't have a disabled node. You can't do any of that stuff if you want to switch back to the standard. So please be careful about that. So if you're looking to play with this, what I would recommend is that you just simply duplicate your existing workflow. Maybe put it into a separate folder, give it a prefix or something on the beginning of it, like advanced something. And then that way you could differentiate your workflows, but just make sure you don't mess anything up where you can't go back. So I do want to at least show you, notice we have several features in here that the independent paths we've got. Let's just turn this node off too. And now we've got this thing being disconnected. So we've got all these cool things. Now let's try to switch back to the standard builder. You're going to get an error. Can't go, triggers are not supported in the standard builders. So this is one of those things where HighLevel will let you know, the workflow builder, you can't do that. Not unless you reconfigure this. So again, once you reconfigure it to have all the features of the standard builder, then you can convert it back to the old way. But that's just something that if you want to do that. So those are some of the cool things that you can do with this. Now, I do want to sit back and mention just one other quick thing. This build using AI, this is a cool feature that again was recently released where you can have AI create the entire workflow. You just tell it what it is that you want to do, and it will go through and build all the stuff for you as best as it can. But again, be careful. This is part of Ask AI in here. So you can just use Ask AI actually. Just be careful. Notice that these icons, anytime you see these little double star icons in here, that means it's Ask AI dependent on there. So it's included in that feature. But you can just simply go to Ask AI and have it build a workflow directly, tell it what you want, and it'll build it. However, it can only build standard builder workflows at the moment. Right now, HighLevel had mentioned that maybe the first or second part of 2026, that they will start putting and integrating this into the advanced features. Because believe me, I tried to use that. I tried to give it a larger prompt saying, I even said, use the advanced builder, create two separate triggers, one trigger doing this, another trigger doing that. And it just put it all inside of the standard builder. And it's not supported on the advanced builder right now. So I wanted to let you know, if you are looking to use that and you're trying to do like me and spend, that was about 30, 40 minutes going back and forth before I contact the support. But don't waste your time because it's only available for standard right now. But hopefully you found some good information over here of just what you can do with the new advanced builder inside of here. And they're going to keep building new features on this. But I just want to say thank you so much for hanging in there with me. If you did learn something, hit that like button here. Please, I'm trying to get some different ratings here on YouTube for these videos and channels. I'm always here to support you and provide the content for you. If you do have any questions over this, leave them in the comments. I always do get back to people. And just thanks so much for your support. I appreciate it. You have a great day. Bye-bye.